Hey, help support the show by becoming a member on Patreon or YouTube. You'll get 4 bonus videos a month, plus ad-free versions of every Junkyard pod, and a special shout out at the beginning of each video. This is the best way to help me as a creator, and so thank you and go Cavs. So yeah, here's some initial thoughts on Heat versus Cavs. Again, as I said earlier, haven't done a deep dive on the Miami Heat. Haven't felt really the need to, because I didn't want to do a deep dive on all 4 play-in teams. Figured I'd just wait till we knew who we were playing. And so these are going to be my initial thoughts. It's subject to change as I go further in. All right, initial thoughts for the Miami Heat. I would say the Cavs should be expecting to win this in 4 or 5. Uh, I would be a little annoyed / disappointed if the series went to 6. Any further than that, right? Like, you should be able to take care of business. You have way more talent than the Miami Heat. So you should be able to beat them right off the rip. The advantage that Cleveland has, they have the top end star power in Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. Like, the Cavs probably have the 2 or 3 best players in the series, right? Like, I think Darius, Donovan, and Evan Mobley, all 3 might be better than Herro and Bam. You can kind of nitpick with that, but you could argue the Cavs have the top 3 players in the series, and they kind of have more depth too, right? So there's a reason why the Cavs won 64 games, the Heat won whatever 40 something, but initially that's obviously the only 35. Yeah, I was gonna say 40 sounded way too high. They were the 10 seed, weren't they? So yeah, only 35. Yeah, there's a reason. Now, I will say though, we'll start off here giving them a little bit of credit here. I do think the Miami Heat are a slightly better team than a 35 win team. I think the Jimmy Butler situation at the beginning of the year was very weird, threw off the entire vibes. They had no idea, is he playing? Is he not playing? He's suspended. He's beefing with the coaching staff, with the front office. He's on the court, but is he really trying? Like, they had a very weird start to the year. I think solely getting off of the Jimmy Butler situation, making a trade, getting a legit NBA player and Andrew Wiggins, like a helpful player he can actually start for them. I think that they're a little bit better. Like, I think they're probably closer to being the 7 seed straight up, like in a play-in tournament, rather than the 10 seed, which they were. Were they the 10 or 9? I don't remember. But regardless, like, I think they're a little bit better. Still, I think that they're a huge tier below the Cavs, right? So still have a huge advantage, but I do want to start off by giving them credit. Tyler Herro, fringe all-star guard, right? Like, he was kind of on the fringe. Bam Adebayo, he's been an all-star in the past. So they have the talent. They have Andrew Wiggins. One thing right away is going to be interesting to me. Who are they going to, like, how do the Cavs choose to match up with the Miami Heat? Yeah, I'd imagine the Cavs are going to stay with the starting lineup with Strus in there. But Miami getting out of here and into the playoffs is actually really interesting because I kind of think this is a good DeAndre Hunter matchup. Maybe I'm really wrong right here, but like, I kind of think you might be better off in some situations having Evan Mobley play the 5 against Bam, DeAndre Hunter at the 4 guarding Andrew Wiggins. Um, like, I think going small and matching Miami that way could work because Evan Mobley's going to be fine whoever he's guarding, but you don't want him to have to be out on the perimeter guarding Andrew Wiggins just because you want him around the rim as much as you can. So, yeah, I think we're going to see minutes with DeAndre and Evan Mobley, and so I wonder, this is like a good way to get ready for lineups that we will see against Boston, right? And yeah, good point, Demo. It doesn't mean they have to start DeAndre, but I think we'll get more minutes, a longer look at those types of lineups and how they translate to Miami, and try to take that and translate it to Boston. Because obviously Miami is a very, very, very different team than the Boston Celtics. But I think this is a series where DeAndre Hunter can learn some things, learn how to be used the correct way in a fashion that should translate at least somewhat to Boston. Old kid's doing a good job pulling some of these matchup numbers right now. It looks like Strus drew the primary Herro matchup. And I think that's a good choice. That's a good choice there. It looks like Bam was 50-50 split between Mobley and Allen. That's about what I'd expect. Strus guarding Herro is probably the best option. I wonder if at any point they pivot to him guarding Duncan Robinson or if I'm just overthinking it because you don't want to have the guards have to chase Duncan Robinson around. And I kind of feel like Strus, as a guy who runs around screens for a living himself, might be a good option to stick on someone like Robinson. So I'll be interested to see if that matchup ends up being a thing at all. But overall, Strus on Hunter is a good choice. The Heat, here's the thing, and this goes into what Jarrett said. Again, this is just my initial thoughts. I kind of think you just play Herro and Bam straight up. You don't have to give them any super special treatment as far as trapping the ball. Do you even have to go zone on them? Like, I think you can kind of just play them straight up because I don't think Tyler Herro or Bam Adebayo, as good as they are, I don't think they can beat you in a playoff series. I know that they've won playoff series before, but Jimmy Butler was there, right? I don't think Tyler Herro is going to average 30, 35 points per game and beat the Cavs. I think if you were trying to, I'm not worried about the Miami Heat beating us, but if I was trying to think of like, okay, if Miami was going to win this series, what would have to go right for them? It's not just like, oh, Tyler Herro scores 30 points. I think Tyler Herro could score 30 points in a game and the Cavs could easily still win. I don't think Tyler Herro getting 30 or 35 automatically means the Cavs lost. But if Duncan Robinson or Andrew Wiggins or other guys are hitting threes and like Duncan has 20 or Wiggins has hit a whole bunch of threes or Highsmith is hitting threes, whoever it may be, right? Then you may have lost the game if you're the Cavs. If the supporting cast is filling it up, that's the way you lose a game to the Miami Heat. I don't think you lose a game to the Miami Heat because Bam and Tyler Herro combined for 60 or something. Not saying it's impossible, but I think the more realistic path towards Miami winning a game would be having the entire supporting cast go off. And so I think if you're the Cavs, the goal should be guard Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo straight up. Don't overcommit. Don't trap the ball. Don't force the ball out of their hands too much. And you could still do that. I want to talk about that a little bit, but for the most part, I think you play them straight up. You try to avoid letting Duncan Robinson. Don't let him get hot. Don't let him have a series where he's shooting 50% on threes or something. You don't want Andrew Wiggins to have a series where he's hitting a bunch of threes. You don't want anyone on that team to get hot. As far as Tyler Herro goes, though, I do think you're going to switch it up. I don't think you're going to guard him straight up the entire series. I think they're going to have moments where Wiggins, Robinson, Highsmith, Davion Mitchell, whoever else is out there is just not hitting shots, not creating plays. I think that's going to be a signal for the Cavs to say, all right, no one else on this Miami Heat team is feeling it right now. Let's just trap Herro. Let's go zone even, get him off the ball. There are other people to beat us because they're not beating us right now, right? But as Old Kid says, Herro getting 8+ dimes might be a worse sign than him getting 30 points. And that's what I was attempting to get at with my opening there is like, yeah, you probably don't overreact to Herro. Don't overreact to Herro. Don't overreact to Bam. Stay home. Continue to limit the supporting cast. I don't think any one person on Miami is enough to beat you one-on-one. So you just have to make sure that it's not a reverse Cavalanche, right? I think that's relatively easy enough. I think the Cavs are a good team. I think the Cavs are a good defensive team on a string. I think they play very well in the half court, as indicated by they're the number one half court defense in the NBA since February 1st. They're top 5 half court defense. So all of these point towards the Cavs having a pretty easy time. But Aura mentions Bam was snagging rebounds. The Cavs need to get rebounds, which has been their weakness, and take advantage of. Oh yeah, Kaleo Ware's inexperience. What you think? Yeah, here's the thing. So I'll start here with the rebounding. I've said this a bunch on the Junkyard Pod. Said it on Playback streams. You don't have to outright win the rebounding battle to win a game or win a series, but you can't get pummeled on the glass. You can't get destroyed on the glass. If you can keep it competitive on the glass, keep it close. Yeah, as long as you can keep it close and you're doing everything else, you're going to be fine. If you're getting pummeled on the glass and Bam has 16 rebounds or the Miami Heat have 15 offensive rebounds, whatever it may be, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you lost the game, but the margin for error now gets razor thin. And so I think of the Knicks series, we talk about it all the time, but I think of that series, even though they were getting demolished on the glass and it was really bad and it felt bad, it felt worse than it looked even, right? They still maybe win that series if Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell just score 30 to 25 points like you want to expect from them, right? Like the offense was still a larger issue to me in that series because they were scoring like 90 points per game, even with how badly they were getting beaten on the glass. If they were able to score more points on offense, it wouldn't have mattered as much. Now, that Cavs team, let's be real. At the time, we thought they were more ready than they were. They weren't ready yet. They weren't where they are right now. The team also wasn't as deep and competitive, and the roster just wasn't as high quality. So a lot has changed since then. I think the Cavs can weather the storm if they're losing a rebounding battle. If there's a game where Miami's killing them on the glass, I think they can make up for that with 3-pointers and just overwhelming offense of their own. And so it's nice that the Cavs have options now. It's nice that I don't think an entire series could be single-handedly flipped on the glass. But with that said, it's obviously still important. So, yeah, it's going to come down to when you look at the Cavs numbers this season, they're a very good rebounding team when Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are on the court. They're a very good rebounding team. They're not elite. I think they were in the 76th percentile. So they're above average. They're good, but they're not like great. The thing is, when one of the bigs is off the floor, they start to plummet. They start to get pretty bad. And so good news is in the playoffs, you'll be able to play your best players a little bit more. You can have Evan and Jarrett on the court more often, but you're still going to need to give them a rest. So I think the Cavs are in a better position now than in previous years to cover up those holes when one of Allen or one of Mobley's off the floor. I think Dean Wade is someone who could be genuinely impactful in the playoffs. We've been saying that 3 years in a row, but it could really happen. And I think it's even more likely this year than before because now Dean Wade is kind of your break glass in case of emergency guy. It's not quite that deep into the rotation, but you're not putting a spotlight on Dean Wade in the same way that you were before because DeAndre Hunter's going to play before him, right? Like DeAndre Hunter is your backup four. Dean Wade is the guy who you turn to if it's like, all right, we're getting crushed on the glass. We need to switch something up. Dean Wade come in and help. And I think he can. I think he genuinely can help. And I think DeAndre Hunter, there's going to be a lot of focus and responsibility on him to attack the glass. And I think he has shown throughout the regular season, his short time in Cleveland, 27 games, I think, that he's capable of getting rebounds. Talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm going to repeat myself. DeAndre Hunter, since coming to Cleveland, is averaging more rebounds in Cleveland than he was in Atlanta this season on fewer minutes per game. If you just look at his 27 games in Cleveland and you expanded that out to an entire season, it would be a career high in defensive rebounding percentage for DeAndre Hunter. He's been rebounding at a career high rate since getting in Cleveland. It's still, off the top of my head, I think it was around the 50th percentile. So it's still not great. It's still not like he's just breaking even there. But it might be all you need. You might only need him to be slightly above average on the glass because you have Mobley, you have Allen, you have Max Strus, who's a really good rebounder for his position. You have Dean Wade, who's a good rebounder. You have Sam Merrill. Honestly, I'm gonna give shout out to Sam Merrill right here. Got to say a couple things about Sam Merrill entering this series. One, sneaky good rebounder. You check the box scores and like I'm not saying he's a great rebounder. I don't even know if he's above average, but I feel like he's an above average rebounder. I don't know what the numbers would suggest, but Sam Merrill, whenever I do the grades and I look at the box scores or I watch these games, I'm consistently surprised by how often Sam Merrill is tracking down the ball and either he's grabbing it himself or he's tapping it to someone. Like Sam Merrill, it's actually kind of helpful on the glass, and he's 6'5". So you have Sam Merrill. You have I feel like I'm forgetting someone else who could help the Cavs in the rebounding department, but maybe I said all of them. The point is you have guys who can chip in on the glass now. And 2023 against the Knicks, you basically had Mobley and Allen. Now, Robin Lopez wasn't saving you. Lamar Stevens wasn't saving you. The Cavs have more options as far as rebounding goes. And I just remembered the other Sam Merrill thing that I wanted to make. I gotta say this. I gotta defend our boy Sam Merrill because there is a possibility that he gets played off the floor especially as we get deeper into the playoffs, right? Which, knock on wood, hopefully the Cavs have a deep playoff run. Sam Merrill, There's going to be times where he's targeted. There's going to be times where maybe he's not able to stay on the floor. Maybe he's not even shooting the ball well, right? You have to say something about him, though, because a lot of people have been hating on Sam Merrill, and I feel like this is something that has almost been forgotten. We won an entire playoff series, kind of in large part due to Sam Merrill hitting a couple threes in Game 7 against Orlando. We don't win Game 7 without Sam Merrill. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to translate to every single context or every single series moving forward. It's very possible that he's out of the rotation. It's very possible that he's out of the rotation as early as round 1. Definitely by the time you get to Boston, maybe. But let's be real and give credit where it's due. We have already seen the context in which Sam Merrill can actually help you win a playoff series. Being so serious, you do not win Game 7 if Sam Merrill doesn't hit a couple threes at the end of the first half against Orlando to get you back in the game. He legitimately helped us win a playoff series. So I just want to give credit to where it's due and let everyone know that there is already proof of concept there that Sam Merrill can help you in that department. Dr. Manhattan says the only thing I'm worried, quote, worried is about rebounding, Herro, Robinson heater, and Spo's adjustments. I would say I agree with you on all those, and I would add one thing. I'm not worried about this. This is more so something that I'm focusing on. Miami's length defensively. How does it bother Cleveland's guards? And the opposite of that, well, not the opposite, but on the front court side of that, what does Evan Mobley do to guys like Andrew Wiggins, Haywood Highsmith, and Kyle Anderson? I know Bam Adebayo is a pretty damn good defender. I'm not looking for Mobley to cook him, but I'm assuming Evan Mobley is going to get plenty of opportunities where he has Andrew Wiggins in front of him, where he has Kyle Anderson in front of him, where he has Haywood Highsmith in front of him. Maybe he gets switched on to, anybody else on that team. Maybe he has a moment where Tyler Herro's on him for a second, right? In those matchups, is Evan Mobley seeing barbecue chicken and taking people's lunch money and going crazy and attacking the rim and hitting threes and doing all this great stuff that we've seen him do throughout the regular season? Or is he passing the ball back to Donovan Mitchell and kind of, disappearing? Or is he not able to punish those guys, right? Like someone like Andrew Wiggins or Haywood Highsmith. Not super elite defenders, but they're no scrubs on the defensive end. They don't have the size, the muscle to hold off Evan Mobley, but they're agile enough to keep up with him. And so something in the past, something I've been watching with Evan Mobley throughout this year that's been very encouraging is in the past, wow, that Ja Morant dunk was insane. Holy shit. Sorry. Jesus Lord. That was nasty. What was I even saying about the Cavs? Evan Mobley. In the past, Evan Mobley, and I have a story for Fear the Sword coming out tomorrow. By the time this is uploaded on YouTube, it'll already be out. So check it out on fearthesword.com. Not sure what title we're going with for it yet. We're trying to cook up the best title, but it's an Evan Mobley story, so you'll find it. In the past, and it's something I've talked about before, in the past, Evan Mobley, if he had a slower big on him, that was like the one time when we really got to see him shine as a athletic, agile 7-footer who could take people off the dribble and get to the rim. If he tried to do that to someone who was agile enough to match his stride, he didn't really have the physicality, the body, the width, the size, the strength to take that contact and finish around them or through them. That's not the case this year. Been talking about it all year, posted plenty of videos on Twitter, talked about it on YouTube. You've heard me yap about it forever now. Evan Mobley is a mismatch hunter. He has put people in the basket this year. He has taken guys who, all right, if you're a slower big who can't hang with me on the perimeter, I'm just going around you. I'm cooking you that way. If you're someone who's athletic enough to stay with me, I'm using in my story, I'm using the Naz Reid clip. I'm sure we remember when he's Naz Reid's defending him. He takes him off the dribble, kind of powers through him, then hits this like de-acceleration Euro step to finish. That's the type of stuff that Evan Mobley didn't do in the past that he's done consistently this year. So the Miami Heat series is a good series for him to showcase this because, yeah, they have Bam, again, great defender, but they have a lot of guys who he should be able to punk, right? Like, again, all due respect to Andrew Wiggins, Cleveland Cavalier Andrew Wiggins, NBA champion Andrew Wiggins. Evan Mobley should be putting his ass in the basket every single time he's in front of him. Kyle Anderson, You're too damn slow. Your nickname is Slow Mo. I'm sorry, Evan Mobley. If you are that dude who I think you are, you cannot be locked up by someone nicknamed Slow Mo. Okay, that's unacceptable. And I don't think it's gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like Evan Mobley, you can't let a guy whose nickname is Slow Mo beat you in this first round series. I need you hanging 20 points a game on him, if not more, right? Like, this is a series where Evan Mobley should really be able to go crazy offensively. And it's going to come down to the Cavs getting him involved, right? Like, show me that you are serious when you say earlier in the season, man, we should have gotten Evan Mobley more involved right there. Evan Mobley really had it going and we went away from him. Okay, I believe you. I believe you noticed that. Kenny, Donovan, Darius, all of them, they all talk about it. Show me in the playoffs. Show me in the playoffs that if Evan Mobley's cooking against Miami, you just keep giving him the ball. Just keep giving him the ball. I think the concerns, honestly, I think Dr. Manhattan nailed it with his concerns earlier. He said, I'm worried about the rebounding, which would probably be my number one concern. That's the number one concern because there's no way to really X's and O's the rebounding battle. There's certain things you can do, there's certain adjustments that you can make, but if you're getting pounded on the glass, you're getting pounded on the glass. Like, you just have to be better, right? Like, you just have to be more physical. You have to be more active and engaged in pursuing the ball. That's all it comes down to. There's not really like an X's and O's adjustment that you can make. You just have to attack the glass a little bit better. And so that's why it concerns me, is because it's like, if that's not going the Cavs' way and it's tilting games, there's no like easy logical way to fix it. You just have to fix it, which sounds stupid, but that's how it works. Um, Tyler Herro was the other worry that Dr. Manhattan mentioned, and I agree with that too. Like, yeah, he's their best player. Um, to be honest with you, though, like I said, I don't think Tyler Herro is good enough to beat you in a playoff series. I just don't. I think even if he plays his best game and he has 30 points or whatever, it might not be enough to win even that game. I think the Cavs. Oh, just knocked my AirPod out. I think the Cavs could win even the best Tyler Herro game, genuinely. So that doesn't worry me too much. Um, Here's something that friend of the show, Brian Windhorst, has mentioned. He mentioned it a lot on the Locked On Cavs podcast, which was also a great episode there, especially if you were looking for more NBA playoff stuff rather than Jamario Moon, Delonte West stories. But hey, you got the best of both worlds, right? And I love the stories that we got on our show. But Wendy mentioned that the Cavs had been shooting, trying to think of the number, somewhere in the bottom 10 3-point percentage since, I believe, February, or since the All-Star break, maybe. Obviously, this is true for every single team in the playoffs. You need the 3-point variance to be on your side. Whether you're Boston, OKC, whoever you may be, you need the 3-point variance to be on your side. Last 25 games or so for the Cavs, 3-point variance hasn't been all that good. It's been variance is underselling it. It's been very up and down. They've had games where they're shooting the cover off the ball, and they've had a lot of games where they're not shooting very well at all. In the regular season, that's, you can forget about it every other game. It's not a big deal. Playoffs, all it takes is 3 games of being in a shooting slump, and you're in a hole that you can't climb out. So, Cavs 3-point shooting has to be trending the right way. I'm hopeful, faithful that it will. I guess the double big thing for Miami, the reason why I'm not concerned is because Ware, he's a rookie. He's a rookie and he's had really good moments. But do I trust that jump shot in a playoff setting? I'll feel pretty safe betting against it, right? I think the Cavs could just ignore him, almost treat him kind of like they treated Jonathan Isaac and Wendell Carter Jr. last year in the Orlando series. It's like, yeah, go ahead. Stand in the corner. Oh, you think you can be a floor spacing big? Show me then. All right, rookie, let's see it. And hey, if he beats you, he beats you. But I think I'll take my odds in that, right? And look, if he's hitting threes, you adjust. But they probably do that to him. And Ware's versatile. He has other options offensively. I'm not saying he's just going to stand out there, but I'd imagine that's how the Cavs treat him. Bam, again, great player. I do think he's capable of giving you a lot of problems, but he's still like he is a fringe all-star type of guy, right? He's not a true game breaker, so I'm not overly worried about him. I'm more so interested to see how the Cavs would respond to Miami's 2 big lineup again. Does that mean we match them with both of our bigs? or do we go smaller? Do we pivot? I don't know. I'm very interested to see. Yeah, Spo's adjustments, his ability to game plan and adjust will be very interesting. And I think Kenny Atkinson is capable of playing that chess game, right? I think Kenny Atkinson is going to be right there matching his moves with his own adjustments. And so it's a very good series, in all honesty. I think Ziggy of Akron tweeted this. If I'm giving credit to the wrong person, I apologize, but I'll just give it to Ziggy because you know what? Why not? Shout out to him, one of the best follows on Cavs Twitter. He said, I think back on like earlier this week, maybe on Tuesday, that he's cool with the Cavs graduating from the class of Eric Spoelstra, right? Like, go ahead, have that first round matchup, beat him, and just like it's definitely you want to talk about giving this Cavs team, this young Cavs team who is hoping to compete for a championship, giving them some proof of concept and some confidence. Hey, we just knocked off Eric Spoelstra's Miami Heat. We beat Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro. And I know that the Cavs are clearly the favored team. They're clearly a more talented team, but it means a lot more. Like, genuinely, it means a lot more to be able to say, yeah, we just knocked off Eric Spoelstra, Bam Adebayo, this Heat team, this Heat culture team. We just beat them. That it means a lot more than saying, yeah, we beat Trae Young's Atlanta Hawks. No, not to be overly disrespectful to Trae Young, but it just hits a little different. It hits a little different to be like, yeah, we beat Eric Spoelstra. And I mean, if you're thinking about it, I don't think the Cavs fear the Celtics anyway, but like think about how much trouble the Celtics have had with the Miami Heat over the years. And I know it's a way different team. Jimmy Butler, the demon is not there anymore. But the Cavs being able to like just brush that off the shoulder and be like, this is what you had trouble with? Like you couldn't adjust to Spo. We did it in our first go around. I think I'm probably glazing it a little bit too much, overhyping it a little bit too much, but I do think it genuinely matters for this Cavs team who desperately needs some proof of concept. They beat Orlando last year, but it took 7 games and it got really, really ugly and the vibes were horrible for certain parts of it. They haven't had a playoff series where they just whooped someone and looked like the better team and dominated and said, yeah, we're just this caliber of team. It's hard to do that in the playoffs. It's hard to beat a team in 5 games or 4 games in the playoffs. The Cavs could really use that, adding that to their belt, right? Like it actually matters. So that's one thing that I want to see. I would almost be more concerned. Well, let me put it this way. I would be fairly concerned if this series went 6 games. If the series went 6 games, I'd be a little worried about the Cavs. I'd be like, all right, guys, what's going on here? Like I'm not saying it's impossible. Weird things happen in the NBA, and if they win in 6, it doesn't mean that the season's over by any means. No, things happen. Weird things happen. But I really, really want to see them take care of business, either sweep this Miami Heat team or beat them in 5.